Hello, happy Vlogmas. My name is Melissa, in case you don't already know me. It has been a few years since I've been here on YouTube. It was 3 years ago that I did Vlogmas. And since then I have not. So this year I started thinking about it a few weeks or even months ago that I might want to do it again. And then of course I postponed it to the last possible second and came here in sort of a panic, not knowing what I was going to do. So this will probably be a very casual Vlogmas. I don't know how often I'm going to post. My goal is at least once a week, but it may be more than that, especially if I do keep it pretty casual like I kind of intend to. Yeah, I'm keeping all of Christmas simple this year, to be honest. I've done a little bit of decorating, but not nearly as much as I could have. I didn't dig through all the boxes in my closet and the garage that are just full of stuff. I put up a few simple things. I put up my tree. I haven't put any ornaments on it yet because I'm a little bit concerned about the cats finding it way too tempting, but we'll see. I may put up some of the non-breakable ones. If you follow me on Instagram, where I'm called A Duchess Inside is the name of my account, you know already that I have 4 cats. I have a black cat named Leo and his litter mate Sadie. She's a brown tabby. And then I have 2, they're 5 years old or almost 5. And then I have 2 almost 3-year-old brothers, orange brothers, named Wally and Theodore. They were named after the characters, the brothers in Leave It to Beaver. And they're the sweetest, but they're kind of maniacs, as a lot of orange cats tend to be. I always thought that was just, you know, like, I don't know, how could cats be that different, right? But I don't know, I think they may have something when they say that orange cats are kind of crazy. Anyway, so I haven't put up a Christmas tree in a couple of years because I just didn't trust Wally and Theodore. But this year I put it up, and so far so good. So maybe I'll put up some ornaments. Maybe I'll share doing that at some point. But anyway, so just, yeah, keeping it simple, and that includes Vlogmas. Yesterday I got up early and started trying to video things and edit and put some music, and it just wasn't going anywhere, and I just felt overwhelmed. And even though I really like doing, and I love watching really artistic, nice videos with music and good editing and all the cozy vibes, it's a lot of work, and I kind of want to enjoy my Christmas season and not feel like I'm having to video everything and edit all the time and be fancy about it. So I definitely want to be here to share with you guys, but in a simple way. So anyway, I'm here today. It is actually Sunday, the 30th of November. So I am definitely doing this at the last minute. And I thought today I would just talk a little bit about what I'm reading right now. So this has been a crazy reading year for me, or lack of reading year, I should say. One of the worst reading years I've had in almost a decade. I've really hardly read anything, and I've really struggled with even feeling the urge to read. I've spent a lot of this year feeling very stressed and depressed about the state of the country, the state of the world, and it sort of leached itself into my ability to read or to concentrate on a lot of anything. Actually, I was interviewed just recently by Meg from the wonderful podcast, Meg's Reading Room, which I believe will be posted later this week. And we talked about that in the podcast. And I do think I'm probably not alone in this. So yeah, it's been hard, but I miss it. I miss reading, and you would think that reading would be the perfect thing to do when you're feeling this way, because you can escape into another world and not have to think about what's going on right now. But it doesn't always work that way. So anyway, I have read some things. I'm part of a small group, 4 of us, who we call ourselves the Gilded Age reading group. And we started out reading a lot of Edith Wharton, which is where the name came from, but we've sort of expanded mostly into other kinds of American literature, 20th century American literature, but we vary it at times to reach out to other things. So I kept up with probably half of the reading that our group did over there, and that's been very helpful. I'll probably share some of the books I did read this year and enjoy at some point in one of the Vlogmas videos. But other than that, it's just been very sparse. So I do feel like the tide's turning a little bit though. Last month was better, November, or this month I guess it still is for me. November was better. I read quite a few things that I enjoyed, or at least a couple things. One of them is a reread of the Fitz Osborne series by Michelle Cooper. I read this series, the trilogy, originally back in it was 2021, and really loved them. And this year I'm buddy reading them with Jen from Jen's Reading Life and my friend Elizabeth, who's over on Instagram, and we have just been binge reading it because it's so addictive. The book is written in diary format. The first one is called A Brief History of Montmoret, and it's really very reminiscent in tone to I Captured the Castle, and then it kind of branches on from there. So the characters in this book are royalty from a very tiny island country called Montmoret, a fictional country that's out in the Atlantic Ocean, near England and France and Spain. And yeah, they basically live in kind of a rundown castle with hardly any people anymore on the island, and that's where the book starts out. And then eventually we get into World War II, the years leading up to World War II. The second book is called The Fitz Osbornes in Exile, and that's set during the pre-war years. And then this one, the final one, is called The Fitz Osbornes at War. And it's just, the characters are so well written and so endearing and unique and real. And by the time you get to this book, you're just like on pins and needles to know what's going to happen to these people during the war, and very worried about what may happen to them. So even though I read this series a few years ago, I honestly don't remember the details very well at all. So it's made for a really great reading experience, almost like reading it for the first time. And Jen and Elizabeth are reading it for the first time, so we're having fun. So this really put me back in the reading mood. And when you add that in with kind of the cooler weather, and today we're actually having windy, gray, rainy day, which is great reading weather. I'm just feeling more in the mood to read. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that this will last, and that I'll have a good reading month in December as well. Anyway, highly recommend this trilogy if you enjoy books about World War II and about kind of interesting, quirky characters, and stories with a lot of heart. The other book I have going right now is one that I've had on the go since January. It's Still Meadow Calendar by Gladys Taber. Gladys Taber, if you don't know, she was a kind of nature writer, a homemaking writer, and also a novelist in the, I think, kind of like the 1940s through 70s. And she has a very homey, cozy way of writing, and she wrote a lot of books about her home, Still Meadow Farm, and in New England. And this book is actually written like starting with January. There's a chapter on January, next one's on February, and it goes through sort of what's going on in her life and the nature in the area and the people. So it's very cozy, and it's almost like getting a letter from a friend every month. Now, I did get behind during my reading slump. I'm actually quite a bit behind. I'm only in September's chapter, and I wanted to try to finish this by the end of the year, so I need to get caught up. So I'm hoping to finish it by the end of the year. But I do enjoy her writing. This is the second book of hers I've read. The first one is called Still Meadow and Sugarbridge, and it was a collection of letters back and forth between Gladys and a friend of hers who's another author. So yeah, I really recommend her. She's if you've followed Susan Branch at all, she's one of my favorite authors and illustrators ever. She is the one that brought Gladys Taber to my attention years and years ago, and I think there's a lot of similarities between them. They're definitely kindred spirits. So now on to the things that I am hoping to read, or at least that are on my pile of possibilities for December. The first one is Winter Solstice by Rosamund Pilcher. Here's Leo. Say hi. This is probably going to be the third or maybe even fourth time I've read this book. It's just the best book to read during the Christmas or winter season. Rosamund Pilcher is just one of the best writers when it comes to stories that are full of heart and warmth and domestic detail. She can write about setting a table and cooking a meal and make it sound like the most fascinating thing you've ever read. And then her stories also are just full of characters that feel so real. And this particular story is about a group of people who come together during the holiday season through various circumstances and end up forming sort of a found family of sorts. And it changes all of their lives. And she's just the best. I just love her, especially her longer novels like this one. And this is one of my very favorites of her books. And there she is. Beautiful Rosamund Pilcher. Love her so much. So I'm looking forward to reading this. I'm actually planning on buddy reading it with my friend Elizabeth. One thing I get in the mood for a lot at Christmas time is historical romance. And especially when I've been in a reading slump, that's one of the genres that really can pick me up. So I think I may try to reread this. This is called Marion's Christmas Wish by Carly Kelly. And it's a Regency romance. And it's just set in the Christmas season and very cozy and fun. I haven't read it in quite a few years, so it would be a fun, quick read. Highly recommend it. So just to kind of give you a little summary, Miss Marion Winswich had not been raised to be a proper young lady. Instead, she had been educated to be as good as any man in everything from reading Greek to playing chess. Thus, it is with dismay that she saw what falling in love could do to the most sensible of females, as she watched her sister turn giddy when a gentleman captured her heart. Never, Marion vowed, would she ever commit that feminine folly. Then dashing Lord Gilbert Ingraham came to pay a Christmas visit. ... So imagine what will happen. So yeah, this is a really good one. Another genre that I really love when I'm feeling in a bit of a slump is cozy mystery. And this series is my absolute favorite at the moment. I love this series so much. This is the Royal Spiness series by Rhys Bowen. And I think this is like the 10th or 11th in the series. So far there are probably 20 or so books in the series, and she's still publishing them, which is just amazing because I love always having something to look forward to. They come out around this time of year, the new ones. So I'm not that far along yet though. And this is the one I'm on. It's called 4 Funerals and Maybe a Wedding. And the heroine of this is Lady Georgiana Ronick. She's like 30 something in line to the throne, the British throne. She's always down on her luck, struggling with money. Her mother is the daughter of a Cockney policeman, and her father was, I think, like a nephew or something of Queen Victoria. So she's kind of in between those two worlds, definitely leaning more towards the aristocratic side, but poverty-stricken aristocrat. Anyway, and then so this book just goes, she through all, a series of events in every book, she ends up solving a mystery, usually a murder. And there are so many recurring characters: her grandfather, the former policeman, Queen Mary, her friends, one who's like a fashion designer, her love interest, who's a sort of penniless Irish aristocrat named Darcy O'Mara, who always has a lot of mysterious comings and goings. We don't quite know what he does. Is he in the Secret Service of some kind? Seems like it. So this series is just great. It's so much fun, full of humor. And what I really love about it, besides just the fun of the mysteries, is that it is kind of an ongoing story of the characters, especially Georgiana and Darcy. And so you need to read them in order. It's not the kind of mystery series that you can kind of jump around. At least I don't think that would be very beneficial. So start with book 1 and you will probably want to keep going because it's really just a great series. So I'm looking forward to this one. It's not set at Christmas time or anything, but it's just the next one that I have coming up in my reading. Another book in my pile of possibilities for December is Last Christmas in Paris, written by Hazel Gaynor and Heather Webb. So I haven't read this before, but I know it comes highly recommended by many people I trust, including Jen from Jen's Reading Life. And she's recommended it to me multiple times. So I think I'm going to give it a try this year. Hopefully I'll get to it. I don't know a whole bunch about it, except I think it's written in letter form, and it's set during World War I. So yeah, it sounds interesting, and I'm hoping I'll finally get to that this year. Next up in my pile of possibilities is another reread and another historical romance. This is Holiday by Gaslight by Mimi Matthews. So Mimi Matthews is one of my favorite historical romance writers that's writing today. And she writes a lot of Victorian literature and Victorian romance, I should say, and closed door, which, I'm not picky about it either way, but just in case you want to know. This book is very reminiscent in tone, I think, of the romance to North and South, with the sort of contrast between people from the country and more industrialized parts of England. And, oh hi, cats everywhere. And it's just really good. I've read it before a few years ago and just loved it. So it's another really quick one, and I'm hoping I can get to this one in December as well. I highly recommend it. So just a little bit of a summary. It says, A Courtship of Convenience. Sophie Apperset is quite willing to marry outside of her class to ensure the survival of her family, but the darkly handsome Mr. Edward Sharp is no run-of-the-mill London merchant. He's grim and silent, a man of little emotion, or perhaps no emotion at all. After 2 months of courtship, she's ready to put an end to things. Her parents are outraged, and they may have one more chance for him to win her. So they actually get to know each other, and he's not all that it seems. So it's really good. Highly recommend. Next up in my pile of possibilities is Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan. Another one I haven't read, but I've heard a lot of really great things about. It is set in Ireland in the 1980s, and that's honestly about all I know about it, and that it's set at Christmas time. But it's very brief, and I like to read short books a lot of the time during Christmas. Things get so busy and it's easy to get distracted. So little short novellas or short stories can be really great things to pick up during December. So I'm looking forward to this one. And we'll see what I think. And finally, in my pile of possibilities is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I have my paper version here, but I actually think I'll probably listen to it on Audible. Last year I listened to the version narrated by Hugh Grant. I think it's Audible only, so unfortunately, unless you're on Audible, you're not going to find it like at your library. But it's so good. I loved his narration, and Hugh Grant's one of my favorite actors ever, and he did such a great job with it. So I think I will probably listen to that version again. But yeah, I always have to have some version of A Christmas Carol in my holiday season. Usually it's the movie, or one of the many versions of the movie. And I probably will watch at least one of the movies too, but I'll also listen to the audiobook. So that is it for my pile of possibilities. I feel it's pretty ambitious for somebody who has barely read a thing all year. The pile is probably about half of what I've read so far this year, so we'll see. But I'm feeling good. Hi, Sadie. I'm feeling better about reading. Feeling more motivated, so that is a relief. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Let's all cross our fingers and hope that all of us have great reading months in December. As for the rest of the day, just kind of taking it easy, and I think I'm going to try to make some soup out of one of my favorite Ina cookbooks, Ina Garten. I just adore her, and one of my favorite of her soups is her winter minestrone. So there's a picture of it. It's delicious, and I've made it multiple times. So highly recommend checking this one out. I think you can find it on her website or even on the Food Network website. It's really a good one. So I'm not sure yet if I'll film making it or anything. It's a lot of work to film yourself cooking, but I'm planning to make it anyway. So that'll be good, nice and heartwarming meal. And that's about it. It's Sunday, so the Thanksgiving holiday is almost over. Back to reality, back to work tomorrow. But it's always a little bit nicer in December, I think. Things just seem to slow down a bit. And then towards the end of the month, I'll have a good chunk of time off, so I'm excited about that. Anyway, here's Vlogmas day 1. We'll see what the rest of the month brings. But I'm here, and I'm glad you're here too. And we're just keeping it calm and peaceful for December. And I hope you're doing the same. Talk to you soon. Bye.